cocktail sessions, educational and inspirational talks from experienced startup founders, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders.
You know, I got 10 minutes here, and I just want to tell you real quick my story of my company. I started my company with my younger brother, Roger Chang, right here, who actually did all the work, and he's the one who should be up here talking. But we started our company 12 years ago with $1,800. And last year in 2011, we did a little over 100 million revenue. This year we're going to do close to 200 million in revenue, and that's all without any outside funding or any additional capital. And you know, and I was, you know, I knew since I was 6 years old I wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I was thinking, man, I've learned so many lessons in the 12 years of starting and running my company. You know, what are the things I could share with you guys, like, that would give you guys the most value in 10 minutes. And because I have ADD, I had to make, you know, some cliff notes. You know, in the course of starting our business, you know, you go through so many different cycles. And when you first start your company, you're just trying to figure out a sustainable business model. And over the years, we've probably had 10 different business models. Roger and I actually went through this, and you know, if we gave ourselves an F for every business model that failed, and an A for every one that worked, you know, we saw that our final GPA would be like a 1.6, and you know, and the thing is like the lesson from that is just like iterating really quick until you find your business model, and once you find it, just really focusing. And one of the big mistakes that I made early on is I see a lot that's common amongst entrepreneurs is that we were trying to do too many things. You know, it's like your natural inclination is, hey, the more things we do, you know, the more money we're going to make, and it's complete opposite. So, and then the other thing is hiring smart people. We brought on a partner about 8 years ago, and he literally was a rocket scientist before he came and worked for us. And probably the smartest person I've ever met in my life. And you know, it's just he's hurt my ego many times, made me feel stupid. And over the years working with him, you know, I had to go see a therapist as well. But the main thing is, you know, it's not about doing what's best for me personally and being selfish. You know, just keeping in mind you have a company, you got to do what's best for your company. And the third thing is really believing in yourself. You know, it's just like I have great parents. I love both my mom and dad, but they weren't ever really supportive, you know, in me being an entrepreneur. The whole time, my dad wanted me to be an engineer or a doctor, and you know, he kept telling me to get a real job. And you know, I just believed in myself. And over the years, I've been very lucky to have great advisors. One of my first mentors was one of the founders of Match.com. This was like, I met him 9 years ago. You know, he really opened my eyes to the importance of metrics and measuring things. But at the end of the day, no matter what advice you get and how much data you have, there's just some decisions. At the end of the day, you just have to trust yourself. You know, and you have to believe in yourself and make those decisions yourself. And finally, I think the most important thing is just don't quit. You know, it's just like, you can read, there's so many great business books out there, entrepreneurship books and blogs and whatnot about, you know, what things to do to build a successful company, and it really gives you a blueprint as to the things that you need to do, you know, step by step, tactical stuff. But at the end of the day, you know, being an entrepreneur, you really have to persevere and not quitting and just showing up every day. You know, that's the absolute most important thing. And you know, it's probably the most important thing for me when I look back at my success. And finally, you know, just realizing, you know, this kind of ties back into not quitting, is that success really takes time. You know, Roger and I, we started our company in October of 2000. We thought we'd be, you know, done with this thing in 5 years, and you know, 12 years later, we're still here. So, you know, just be patient and take it easy on yourself, believe in yourself, and don't quit.